Hello, I'm meteorologist Ryan Leach, and this is the weather planning briefing for Sunday, November 9th. First off, just some key points. We're looking at a short wave coming through Monday, Tuesday timeframe, just some light precipitation, mainly rain, just we have very high snow levels during that time. And then it's going to be kind of a warm week, but we do have a pattern change coming Thursday and Friday with a very high confidence in the pattern change, but a low confidence in what the exact impacts will be. And there's just a very wide range in potential outcomes, some of them very snowy. So first off, we've got kind of a warm week ahead. I've selected several locations here up in the mountains, from Bannock Pass to Homestake Pass, Lolo Pass and Lookout Pass, and you can see all of them. The high temperatures during the days are actually going to be up in the 40s and 50s. So we do have a little bit of snow up in the mountains right now, but look for some of that to start melting off a little bit before things start to cool off Friday with a cold front, and then Saturday and Sunday will be much cooler. And then, of course, into this Monday, Tuesday time frame, we do just have a short wave coming through at that point. That's really going to bring maybe a few hundredths of an inch of precipitation, mainly in the mountains. So, not expecting too much impact from that. That'll be mostly rain after this warm week. So, for the pattern change coming Thursday and Friday, this is a graphic right here that shows something called clusters. And what that is we have ensembles. Basically, we run the models a whole bunch of different times to try and see what the potential different outcomes are going to be, and then we try to cluster them up to see what one group of models will go towards one solution and another towards another, and so we this helps give us a wide range of the possibilities, help us to know what the possibilities are out there. And look at this, this clusters. We can see the differences between them, or the shading and the colors. I know some of them we have a pretty good trough coming into the Pacific Northwest. Others, the trough's a little bit deeper and it dives farther south, down in the California, Nevada area. And then still another cluster has just a really broad trough all the way across the west. And then finally, our last one down here on the bottom left has a cutoff low again off the California coast. And then this final chart is just the mean of everything, the average of everything that came in. So, there's all of these really show this trough coming in, or the cutoff low, giving us some kind of pattern change away from the ridging, away from the warm temperatures that we've had. But the outcomes of that vary widely just from these different clusters, the different depths, and the different tracks that those lows take. And so on the left we have the 10th percentile snow. This is looking into the weekend. And you can see there's not very much there, just less than 2 inches really at the highest points up in the mountains. We do have some coming in right around Lolo Pass and Lost Trail Pass, Lookout Pass, Lolo Pass, and then Lost Trail Pass down here, but not very much at all. And then on the other end of that spectrum, we've got for 72 hours for the whole weekend, we've got up to the 90th percentile here is almost 2 feet of snow at Lookout Pass. You've got around a foot at Lolo, and then down at Lost Trail has close to a foot as well. So just a really huge range in the possible outcomes. Just as an example of that, at Lookout Pass in particular, there's a 20% chance. Come over here. There's a 20% chance that there's no snow next weekend at Lookout Pass. But there's also a 20% chance that there's 18 inches or more of snow at Lookout Pass. So a very wide range. Really, the main takeaway from this is, one, there is going to be a pattern change. Two, there will be some snow up in the mountains, even on the low end, maybe not affecting the passes directly, but there will be some snow in the mountains. So if you're out in the backcountry, you need to be prepared at least for some snow. But you also need to keep an eye on the forecast, because there's potential for a very significant event, a lot of snow coming up into the mountains over the weekend. So as we head throughout the week and we're able to dial in a bit more, the models start to converge. This is a week out, 7 days out. As the models start to converge on a solution, naturally we'll update the forecast and make sure you get that information. And then for the 2 week outlook, days 8 through 14, we've been in a very warm pattern here, and like I mentioned, with that pattern change coming, it's going to actually just kind of knock us back down to near normal temperatures. We're not even looking at anything really very cold coming in just yet. Looking at 2 weeks, but we will continue with sort of the near to above average precipitation that we have been seeing across the region. And with that, thank you for watching, and our next briefing will be Thursday, November 13th.